Inside, the lights are low. This isn't your typical lounge. This is where the forgotten tales gather, where the shadows have their say. We'll talk of monsters in the woods, of killers with a motive and lights in the sky, and ghosts in the attic. Come into the waiting room, please.
All righty. Go ahead, Paul.
All right, tonight we have Sarah Russell. She's going to tell us a couple stories. She's going to tell us about some troll dolls when she lived in a house in Spokane, Washington. She's going to tell us about a little girl spirit at Greenwood Cemetery. And she's part of the Spook Paranormal Partnership Program. And she'll tell us all about that. But before we get into that, we're going to have the panel introduce themselves and say a little mini bio so Sarah knows who she is talking about. And I'm going to start with El Guapo.
I'm sorry, Paul.
Okay. El Guapo, yeah, go ahead and give a little mini bio so Sarah knows who she's talking to.
Oh, hey, Sarah. My alias is El Guapo, because I'm so handsome. But anyways, I met Paul a couple of years back. I was I'm a veteran, was a Marine, spent 23 years in California. Wrote 2 books, 2 documentaries, both hit PBS, one hit nationally for 2 years. I've been a lifelong paranormal nerd, I guess, as I call myself with it. Grew up with, watching Leonard Nimoy and all that stuff, all that good stuff, Bigfoot, hauntings, lived in a couple haunted houses as a kid. And I did a podcast with Paul.
Right on. Thank you, El Guapo. Okay, Stacy, go ahead and state who you are and little mini bio.
Stacy Myers. I met Paul back at Witchapalooza in 2007, and started ghost hunting with him, and doing different events and stuff. Preston Castle being one of them. And then, I don't know, I'm an empath, parapsychologist. I helped edit a lot of his books, did some cover art for it. And now I'm in Southwest Missouri and enjoying the wonderful thunderstorms and weather we have here. And hopefully I'm going to be able to start sending some paranormal stuff that we have around this area his way. So we'll see what happens.
Thank you, Stacy. Now we have the paranormal soul brother.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Anyway, yeah, making sure it's sweet. No, I'm just an artist from San Francisco Bay Area, Cal Berkeley dropout, a washed-up actor, and paranormal investigator, just to make it, in a nutshell. So let's go on to some good topics.
Right on.
Right.
Thank you. And we have Christian Apple, a.k.a. Jason.
Hi, Sarah. Hello, panel. How you all doing?
Hey.
My name is Christian, and I live in Elk Grove, California. I have a YouTube channel called Grave Time, where I film cemeteries and forgotten history and cryptids. And I've known Paul for, I think, about 4 or 5 years now. Right. And I've gone on some of his investigations together, and looking forward to what else the future has for us. So welcome.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Chris.
Thank you.
And Sarah, I am really interested about these troll dolls. So I'll let you go ahead and tell us the story.
Well, it was really interesting because back then my family didn't really understand the paranormal. They didn't like it. It was taboo, just not something we talked about. And my mother and my grandmother liked these troll dolls. we were Norwegian, and that was just something that was really our thing. And it wasn't just the plastic troll dolls that they have now that are on glam ring troll movies, but it was a wooden troll doll that had the most freakiest eyes, and the shape of it and the hair, I think, is what got my sister. But we noticed that it had just this really rotten energy about it. And so my sister and I would put it in the back of the china hutch. We literally shoved it behind everything because we just didn't care for it. We came home one day and nobody had been home. And the china hutch door was open and there was cookie crumbs all the way from the cookie jar in the kitchen to the hutch and around the troll doll. And the troll doll was facing forward. And for my mom to be there, witness this, and say with my sister, they both are not paranormal people. So it was just, I was just laughing. I was like, but that, I think, is what sparked my interest in the paranormal when I was young. And the whole house was just an interesting subject.
Well, yeah, what's this little girl spirit that you encountered over at the Greenwood Cemetery?
Yeah, so I had a team back in 2019. We were all pretty close together, and we went out for the evening for an investigation there. And we ended up talking with a little girl named Emily. And in the end, we sent our goodbyes, and she left, and we went home our separate ways. I live in Spokane, and they lived in Idaho. And the weird part was we got together over the phone that night to speak about our investigation. And the next thing I know, all of our smoke alarms started going off at the same time. And we were like, well, why don't we try this? And we said, Emily, is that you? And they stopped.
Wow.
And I still don't understand it until this day. I'm like, that's not possible.
So do you think it was the house mostly that or let's start from the beginning. You said there's a lot of stuff that happened to the house. So y'all moved into this house. Did you grow up there? What
There was that was two separate stories, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, the house that I grew up in sparked my interest with the paranormal because there was so much that happened there. We would hear footprints up and down the back stairs, knocks on the door, lights would go off and on. I mean, we even had the sheriff department out one night, and
Wow.
the funny thing about that was we had all these guys in the house, and there was nobody upstairs. And all of a sudden, we started hearing clunks and sounds like somebody dragging something in the attic. I mean, I'll never forget these officers' eyes. They couldn't understand it either because there was nobody else up there. Just little things like that. And the biggest part that got me too was my mom had a gum stash, and she had some gum go missing, and we got blamed for it. But they were by themselves, and I was out that night, and a lot of chewing gum came flying through the house and landed right by my sister. And my mom had picked it up, and it was warm to the touch, and teeth marks were in it.
Oh.
And I came home, and I looked at them both, and I was like, what happened? And they told me about it, and they were like, how did you get that up on the ceiling? I said, Mom, I haven't been home for like 5 hours. That house was so interesting, and they remodeled it, so I can only imagine what they're going through now. But
Oh, yeah, definitely. So by the time you guys left that house, did your parents I mean, do they believe now?
my mom started to, but she was very religious, so getting anything out of her was like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
But in the very end of her life, she started talking more about it and wanting to know more information. So
Yeah.
being in the field, I was able to give that to her.
Yeah.
But I still don't understand half the stuff that happened in the house. My books would fly across the room in the middle of the night, sometimes at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Just weird. A weird house.
And where are you guys at right now? Where do you live? What state?
I still live in Spokane.
Oh, okay. You're still in Washington. All righty. So, you started your own paranormal group or joined one? How?
No, unfortunately, I have left iSpook,
Okay.
but I do send my best wishes to them. They are a wonderful group of people, and I went my own way because I started a project called Haunted Halos,
Okay.
and basically we're a partnership program where people can join to voice their inventors, their investigations, and their podcasts, whatever they want to do, they can voice it there. And we're not a judgmental community. So we are basically still in touch with iSpook. I love them to death. I recommend them very much. But I am on my own now with Haunted Halos and the Wolfpack Rebels.
Yeah, we interviewed the founder of iSpook Paranormal. Yeah,
Yes.
he's a real nice guy.
Yes. Austin Dell is an awesome guy, and I work with him still on the side, a little bit with different things. He's incredible with what he does.
Wow, sister. So you living in Spokane? You know that's a place of a lot of UFO activity. Do you find that they're mixed? That the energies are mixed? You know, the hauntings and the UFO energy. Do you find that?
I've heard a lot of stories. I've seen one myself, but I couldn't. I even had documentation at the time. It was really weird, but
Wow.
I couldn't get anybody to do anything about it. They didn't want it on the news or anything. Um,
Wow.
but I've heard of different things. Heard of things hovering over my friends' houses, and they live out a little ways in the countryside of Spokane, and they're always talking about UFOs showing up out there.
Do they have any hauntings as well?
Yes, actually they do because they live on an old reservation area,
Wow.
and they see a lot up there.
You know, I've been to Coeur d'Alene, like that part of Idaho, and I saw on your Facebook that somebody said you look like Steve Harvey. Like, no way. What did they say? You said I might be jolly, but I don't look like him. Who put that on your Facebook?
Right on.
You look nothing like him, nor do I, right?
Right.
But
Sorry
no,
about
when you said when I saw that you were from Spokane, I immediately thought of like even all the old school files of UFOs from Alan from Hynek, from of Sam Friedman, from that area, and then people having paranormal and poltergeist encounters. It just seemed like it's like loaded with energy.
You, it really is, and in certain areas of Spokane, it is. Um, like, where is it? I want to say more out by the Air Force Base. There's a lot of energy out there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I every time I go out that way, I have to stop at one of the cemetery sets out there, and just the energy that's there is alone gives me the creeps. But yeah, I do believe that is definitely a thing out that way.
Paul, you're on mute.
You're on mute, Paul. But yeah, it's so
There
do
you
you
go.
want to write a book? Do you have plans to go, do any kind of new groups or start any new teams or anything like that?
Um, I kind of am starting a new team. I can't give out too much information, but it's gonna be me and a friend of mine that I've been friends with for God since 2005. Her name is Melissa, and she is an awesome person. She has a doll collection that I'm so curious about, and I get to meet her soon. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that
Hey, if
goes
she
right.
wants to give away any of those dolls, let me know. I'll give her my address because
Okay.
that's what I do. I take care of and paint scary dolls from porcelain dolls that nobody wants anymore. But if they're haunted, hey, even better.
Right? Exactly. I'm trying to actually start a collection over here, but I don't know if I want to go through that again.
Sarah, how close are you to Mount Rainier?
I am about 215 miles, I think,
Wow.
because that's not, I can't
right.
remember. Is that directly in Seattle or is that on the outskirts of Seattle?
I think it's on the outskirts of Seattle. That's where
Yeah,
Kenneth Arnold saw some flying saucers. He called them
Mount
flying
Rainier, yeah.
saucers. Yeah.
Mhm.
And also, too, that's where Bat Squatch, after the eruption, appeared.
wow.
Hmm.
I didn't know that.
Bat squatch? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, what the heck is a bat squatch?
Bat Squatch is, well, it has the body of a Sasquatch and a face of a bat, and it has huge wings. It was seen at Mount Rainier, and it was seen at Mount Shasta.
Sounds like
Okay.
Mothman.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mount Shasta, Sarah, I saw in your Facebook that you had like a lot of infinity art. Who turned you on to infinity art, and what do you know about infinity art?
Well, I didn't know it was actually called Infinity Art, but
Okay.
I had an incredible art teacher growing up, and her name was Jan Folan, and she's still with us till this day. But she taught me that art should come from the soul, and so pretty much that's what I've done. I
Wow.
dabble in a little bit of everything, but I've recently really gotten into Gothic artwork and poetry.
Good stuff.
A lot of people don't understand it because I'm really dark into it.
I like that quote one where you said you can always find shadows in the light.
Yes.
That one. What was it? What was that one about?
So there's just been so much that has gone on in my life with different things with the paranormal. Um, I I can't even explain it. Like last night, I shocked the hell out of a friend of mine. He was doing an investigation, and I can't really say much about that either, where it's at or anything. But I told him, I go, your medium is sensing a kid. And he goes up to the medium and she's like, are you sensing a kid right now? And she told him yes. And I wasn't even over the phone with him. It was just through a text messaging.
Wow.
And
Reiki master.
it's stuff like that that just blows my mind. And it doesn't happen all the time. I can be completely wrong and flat on my butt with one place, but another place I could be 100% right on.
Wow.
Sarah, so how did you get into the paranormal? What made you so interested in paranormal?
Mostly that first house that I lived in when I was a kid. But I started to bless houses with a friend of mine when I was in my teenage years. and he was an ordained minister. And this particular house had a lot of problems going on in it, and it had actually 3 spirits in it, but it was also on top of an Indian burial ground. And when I started into it, I immediately caught on to everything that was going on in the house. I freaked the lady out about it because nobody else really caught on to it. And at the end, when we started blessing the house, the walls actually started bleeding. And that was the first time I actually saw something so creepy. I couldn't understand it. I couldn't describe it other than like ectoplasma. But it's to this day, it's still mind-boggling because I can't understand what I saw.
Sarah, do you do most of your investigations at cemeteries?
No, but I do have a couple of friends that allow me to come into a cemetery in Spokane. I'm one of the second teams that they have allowed in, because not a lot of people are truthful and trustworthy. Um, but I've done a lot for them, basically getting the name out and stuff for the cemetery. And so every so often I'll go to there and do investigations.
Okay. Well, Christian Apple, he does a lot of cemetery work, and he also too he discovers where they have notable people at these cemeteries buried there. Um, when you go to these cemeteries, do you see some of the notable people that are buried at these cemeteries?
Um, I've seen some names. I've seen soldiers. I've seen um, I don't want to get too far into it because I don't want to upset anybody, but I've seen Native American people. I've seen, and that one was really interesting to me because I was like, no, that's not really happening at the moment. But after I had asked the the groundskeeper about what I saw, he was like, he mentioned a few things which I can't say, but it was right on key.
I actually had a question for you there, Sarah. Have you been to Riverside Memorial Park in Spokane, Washington?
Yes.
Okay. I was there about a year and a half ago. My band went on tour. We played in Spokane, and I begged them the whole entire time. I just want to go to this one cemetery. There's one person I want to see, and the particular grave I wanted to see was that of John G. Lake. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him or not.
I am not, but now I'm going to look him up.
He was a faith healer, and he was from Spokane, and he passed away in Spokane. He was a Pentecostal preacher, and he had something in Spokane which still exists today. We didn't have time to check it out, but it's called the Healing Rooms. And it was like documented that it's like for 5 years, like every person that walked in this place was completely healed.
Oh,
Anyway,
wow.
whether anyone here believes in that or not, I had to see that. But I was also wondering, have you encountered anything spooky in that cemetery? And if so, could you share that story?
Um, if it's the one that I'm thinking of, my uncle is buried there, and I go there quite often. Um, I have seen a few things out that way. Um, I do want to go and do the mausoleum that's there. Supposedly there is a couple of children spirits that they see there, uh, and quite frequently. So I want to go there and experience that. Um, and so does my friend. So we're both thinking about that here soon. Um, but yeah, That's pretty much.
Okay. That was the cemetery. That cemetery was really beautiful. That's one of the cool things I love about Washington. It's very lush because of all the rain, and it was just kind of interesting because when we got into Spokane, it seemed it was like a cross between kind of like desert in some areas, and then some areas was kind of foresty. And the day that we went, it was raining, which I was relieved because the day we went in there, there was a fire that summer, and when the rain came in, it smoldered out the fire, and it was just beautiful, beautiful cemetery, lots of big trees, lots of bushes. It was just breathtaking. I hadn't been to a cemetery like that, I think, ever. And it was just perfect. It was raining, just that nice Washington effect of
Yeah.
weather, and just a beautiful cemetery. So you're very lucky to have cemeteries like that out there.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, it's very pretty, and a lot of our cemeteries actually started off as parks. Like Greenwood Cemetery was a fancy park at the very beginning, and then I can't remember exactly why or who changed it to a cemetery, but they did. And it's actually, I love what they've been doing with the cemetery. They've been remodeling it, so um, if you get the chance and you get the chance to walk through it, you'll see all the stuff that they've done, and it's just gorgeous. It's almost like walking through Manitou Park. But
Sarah, have you been to the underground tunnels in Seattle? Every paranormal group that lives up in Washington, they always talk about all the haunting activities in those tunnels. And they say that the haunting activities are extreme.
so when I went, I was a child. I was probably about 11 or 12, right around there, and I didn't feel comfortable going down there. Uh, I can feel energy, like major energy, and back then, again, I didn't understand much about it, and so when I did go, it was just really kind of um, how do you put it, gloomy, I guess you would put it, but yeah, we went way back in the day. I really wish I could go again.
Um, Sarah, what is this Spook Paranormal Partnership Program?
So I can talk a little bit about it, but being that I'm not a part of them, I don't want to go too far because I don't know what they have done with that since my departure. But iSpook Partnership Program is another place for people to go to that they want to join up with a awesome community that has no drama affiliated with it and can speak their voices and their opinions about things and can share their adventures. He's got a lot going on. Um, a lot of his stuff is kind of like, how do I put it? He's branching off in so many different areas that um I can't even keep up with it. But he's got many teams that he helps out. He has other teams in the community that he helps out, and he has teams that have already been there for the last 2 years that he's helping out as well. So he's pretty swamped.
They have something like that here in California called Paranormal Unity or something like that. And it's supposed to be no drama or whatever, but
All
it
right.
was always drama. And there was always jealousy. And uh, how come your group got on TV and we didn't? So
Mhm.
that paranormal
That's always the breaking point.
unity, yeah. Especially
Uh,
when especially when the TV thing got involved, uh, the groups would fight amongst each other, well, how come they didn't interview me and blah blah blah, and that was my EVP. It just one silly thing after another. Yeah.
I don't understand it. I never will. And that is why, with my particular program that I'm building with Haunted Halos, I have a huge crew because of that, because I don't want any drama in the build.
What do you mean you have
Unfortunately,
a huge crew? What, to take care of the website or what?
yeah, to help out
To
with the website, to help out with the
keep
website, and
the
yeah, and to monitor it.
probably a good
Um,
idea.
And Sarah, the name of my group is Halo Paranormal Investigations (HPI).
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So we have the Halo thing in here.
We should become a sister team or a brother team.
No, it'll be too much drama and it'll be too much
Yeah.
jealousy.
Wow. Because mine's always getting on TV.
Well, I tried.
Yeah, no, but it'll get done.
Okay, hey, so Sarah, do you do investigations of UFOs, cryptids? You got a lot of Bigfoot out there in Washington. It's so lush and green.
Yeah.
You do any Bigfoot hunts?
You know, I haven't personally, but I have heard them. We were at a family reunion over in Diamond Lake, and we were all just chilling out one night, and all of a sudden we started having these really weird whistle noises, and like just stone like breaking of leaves and trees. And my uncles were like, that's got to be Bigfoot, because they were really into that back then. I think they still are until this day. But they went searching for it, and they couldn't find it, but they heard a bunch of noises. They heard the whistling sounds. Um, I thought it was really cool. I wanted to go with them, but they wouldn't allow the kids to go with them. So, but yeah. So that's one of my experiences with that, with Bigfoot at least. And Bigfoot is actually one of my favorite cryptids. And I get a lot of crap for calling him a cryptid. But
Well, I mean, he is anything anymore these days. I mean, I don't remember what we used to call it before they started calling them cryptids, but just separate entities, right? I mean,
yeah.
I like that we can all lump them in at the same thing. You were just talking about hearing noises of Bigfoot. I've gotten really good at distinguishing what different sounds are through different like videos and stuff. I was like, oh, we don't know what that is. That's a Bigfoot. Oh, we don't know what that is. That's a rake. That's
That's awesome though. That's a superpower right there.
it is, I guess, yeah. Paranormal superpower.
Sarah, we have about 4 minutes left. We're going to take a 10-minute break. You're going to get a second link so we can finish up this interview. One of the things I wanted to ask you, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, but are you also too a cancer survivor?
So I have been battling cancer for the last 2 years. I got diagnosed in 23, on Halloween, no less.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. But
You're still fighting this, Sarah?
I am, but I just got news the other day. I got a second opinion because my doctor actually quit and went to a different place. So I went and I got a second opinion. And this doctor says I might possibly be in remission. I just got to get a scan done. So I'm praying. I got to get off my butt and go and actually do this.
That's great news.
yeah, that's great news. You better go get that done, girl.
Yeah, I got to.
Oh.
It's good to hear. Thank you for sharing that with me.
That's Sarah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we have about 2 minutes, and then we're going to be cut off, and then in 10 minutes you'll get a second link.
So think about what you want to talk to
Yeah.
or talk about.
Yeah. So it's,
Definitely.
Where's
Yeah,
El Guapo?
yeah, tell us about your best stories.
Yay! Oh my gosh, that's perfect. Look at the Halloween kitty. Oh my gosh, so cute. Oh, doesn't want to be on camera, huh?
She's not so little. Black is slimming. She's a big girl.
He's not fat, he's fluffy.
Yeah, she's fluffy.
There you go.
Yeah, I love Phil's animals.
I know, right?
Yeah, Christian, you have a cat, don't you?
No, I have a lot of stray cats in my neighborhood. I used to have
stray cats.
I used to have a cockatiel, but it passed away.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah.
My grandmother caught a cockatiel outside on a wire, and she kept that thing for so many times. It was so weird. It was like flying around, and she went outside, heard it squealing, was able to get it to come to her, and then she put it in a cage and she kept it forever until it passed away.
That's how we got our first cockatiel.
Are you kidding? What is
Yeah.
up with that? They just fly away from homes they don't want to be in and go to the ones that they do?
I guess so.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right, guys. Well, are we gonna see you here on the flip side?
Oh yeah.
All
We'll be
right.
back on the flip side. Yeah,
Okay,
we got
good. Maybe Phil will
Listen,
talk more.
Some Jim
55
Morrison
seconds.
bumper music. Welcome to the other side.
Yeah.
Huh?
Just listening to the show.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys later.
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll get this meeting going, but first off, I have to ask Christian. Christian just recently came from Newcastle Cemetery, and I want to just find out what he discovered.
Yeah, I actually went up there Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, so honestly, the last time I was in Newcastle was with you, Paul, and the team for the what was it, October 2021, when your wife Wish was there, and we did the whole EVPs and had a whole group there. But prior to that, the last time I was at the cemetery was in the early part of the pandemic, and so this time I wanted to basically check out the veterans and pioneer section. Just wanted to explore, and I think that the thing I came across the first time was in some of these old pioneer cemeteries, they have these little I don't know how to explain it. It's like a little tiny stand, and it would have like the name of the fraternal organization the person would belong to. And so in this veteran/pioneer section, there were 4 graves that I could find that had one for people that were members of the GAR, the Grand Army of the Republic. And in order to get one of those, you had to be a member. And so some people did not have, for whatever reason, some people chose not to, or did whatever. They would sometimes have like the organization they belonged to, they would be put onto their tombstone or grave marker of some kind. But if they didn't, and or maybe they couldn't afford to, these little markers would be left at their grave. And it just, it's pretty small. It's maybe about that big. It's on a little stick, and it's some kind of metal. I don't know, but these things are super old, and it's so rare to find those. So when I was there Saturday, I was taking pictures of them. I was filming, doing some videos for social media to indicate, like, how priceless these things are, because people either steal them or they get broken in the elements. And then Sunday morning, I thought, oh, man, why did I need to go back? I need to refilm all this because I want to make it into a YouTube video. And then from there, I was going to go up to Georgetown, to the Georgetown Pioneer Cemetery, where I've seen ones for American Legion. and Knights of Columbus and Oddfellows. So those things are super rare to find on the West Coast, specifically in California, but you can find them in pretty much almost any state in the Midwest and on the East Coast, from my understanding.
Wow.
That is interesting.
Christian, have you ever heard of the Green Valley Vortex?
No.
Okay. Remind me to send you some information about that, because there is a strange building there, and it looks like cult people actually hang out at this building. They wear strange clothes and everything else. And the building used to be a tuberculosis type building, and they have a cemetery with those type of markers that you're talking about. So I'm surprised you never went over there. And it also too, it has a strange reputation. Supposedly, and this was in the newspaper in Auburn, that these two high school boys said that a UFO landed at the Green Valley Vortex, and they were chased, believe it or not, by robots. So that's one of
I
the
remember
stories.
hearing about that.
Yeah, and there's supposed to be like a pyramid buried in the ground. Bigfoot's been sighted there, and lots of ghosts because of the cemetery. Yeah, it's a very interesting place. I investigated it at one time. Very strange, odd place.
Well, when I was there at the cemetery on Sunday, there was, I think it was the property next door to the cemetery. Someone was out there shooting their gun.
Oh,
So there was a little uneasy, but I'm like, I'm out in the country, kind of, I'm out here. So I mean, like, I expect people to have guns, but like, I don't know what they were firing at, but it was making me a little nervous because I'm unarmed.
You're gonna see Christian walking through the graveyard. Get the ground. God.
Where's the bullet gonna land? Yeah. Hey, Paul, what do you mean tuberculosis type building? What do you mean, man?
Well,
Yeah. That's
a hospital. It used to be a sanitarium hospital or something like that.
Yeah, no, that was scary. That was scary.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, right? I wouldn't want to go into anything like that.
Hey, since I have everybody here, I got to ask Phil something. He sent me something about a North Carolina sheriff confirming a non-human entity. What was that about there, Phil?
That was a clip I found online, which sounded pretty interesting. It's a guy who was driving a truck out by Cape Fear. At the northern part of Cape Fear, there's a beach, not really a beach, but there's a shore area that they call Black River. This guy was driving on a road near it when he saw somebody standing in the road. It's deep country, so it's just not, especially in the evening, to see somebody out there like that. So he called up 911 thinking somebody was in trouble. And while he was on the 911 call, he thought he heard something, on the top of his truck, in the back of his truck, and he flipped on the light that illuminates the bed of his truck, and there was something in his truck that he was started screaming about that was not human. Apparently, he had slammed on the brakes. The thing fell out of the truck, and he took off and kept going.
Well, he slammed on the brakes. It flipped over the front of his truck, rolled down, and then he was able to leave. Some people think it was a rake. Others think it was a skinwalker. But
yeah, I can play the thing. It's
It is
Yeah, play it, please.
911 tape without becoming somewhat unnerved. It actually bothered me the first time that I heard it.
Okay, 911, what's the effect of your emergency?
I'm driving on 210. I just crossed the Black Rivers, and I saw a guy standing on the side of the road bleeding.
Okay, where are you at?
On Tuesday, I took off Black River.
Am I the only one that can't hear anything else?
Nope, I couldn't hear it either.
Okay.
I'm muted. I don't hear anything else.
You didn't hear the monster?
Well,
I was looking around. See?
I'm not hearing
Mr.
anything.
Dean's like sitting there nodding his head, and I'm like, oh my God, I've gone deaf.
You guys couldn't hear any of that?
No, we heard him say that he saw somebody was on the side of the road bleeding, and then just like
that was it.
This sounds like Lizard Man. I think that happened in North Carolina, where that one kid was chased by this lizard creature and jumped on his car, and he totally freaked out. And there was scratch marks on his car.
Oh, that's there was one like that in Riverside, Southern California. That was that was in the 50s or late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know area is lit up.
Man, when we were in combat training in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. But half of that I think might have been just the DIs trying to scare us.
Really? You think?
Well, we spent 28 days out in the field with just tents, shelter halves they called them. So you had half the tent, your buddy had the other half of the tent, and you basically lived out in the swamp for 28 days. No bars. They had a water buffalo, which is just a huge tank of water, and you had 2 canteens and a bar of soap, and that was your only way of keeping clean. So it was pretty.
It was entertainment, but I've been listening to some of the wartime stories stuff, and if any of those stories are true, I don't know. I wouldn't. There's some crazy stuff going on out there with you guys. So,
well, they said the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. So that they made it extremely as difficult as they could without, actually physically hurting us.
Yeah, I bet.
Sometimes. So
what are the craziest stories in like Washington and in or around your area that you've heard about?
Well, we've had a couple different things go on here. We had a crazy scientist that just started murdering people in his house, and for I think a decade actually, they didn't realize he was doing it, and all these people started going missing, and they actually started finding trails to him. And long story short, they found out that he was actually doing it inside of his house for experimenting.
Right.
Right. For his doctorate.
Oh my God.
You know how long ago that was?
I'm sorry. 90s.
I can see that. Yeah, we were all pretty crazy back then. So.
Gruesome, pretty gruesome.
Sarah, have you by any chance been to Long Beach, Washington to see Jake the Alligator Man?
Is that close by Seattle?
No, it's on the coast. It's closer to Astoria and Warrington.
Unfortunately, I have not been over that way.
Okay.
I want to go over that way though. It's on my bucket list.
There's a
Is that
place
where
there.
the freak show was?
No. This place is it's a free museum. It's called Marsh's Free Museum. And the gimmick attraction is a fake taxidermy, half man, half merman. And it goes by the name Jake the Alligator Man. And they have some pretty freaky taxidermy. They got jackalopes, and they have oh gosh, what are those called? The ones where you get the backside of a deer and you make a face out of it. Booger something. I forgot the name. Woogly Booger or something like that. Some kind of name like that. But yeah, it's a great place. It's free, you can't pass it up. But anyway,
Sounds like a place you need to go.
Right.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. So
Speaking-
yeah, about all right. So Philly, you heard the 911 call, the whole 911 call. I only heard like the little section of it where the thing had jumped in the back of the truck. So what do you think? Can you hear the thing in the 911 call?
You can't hear the thing. You hear a thump in the back of the truck.
Oh, okay. All right.
You hear his reaction.
Yeah. All right.
He
It
was all
was scary.
It's behind my truck. It's on my truck. He was
Right. That's what I heard. Yeah. And then it kind of, that was it. And it was like, oh my God, and from what I understand though, because you guys were saying it was in different spots too, that there has been several sightings or the same thing around different areas. So what do you all think it is?
Lizard Man's an old one from North Carolina, and I'm sure there's probably other cryptids that we don't know about, especially there. That's northwest North Carolina, whereas where I was at was southeast North Carolina. So that's quite a distance apart from in different terrain too. That almost seems more mountainous than we were down in the swamps. So, and anything could have been an alien. Christian sounds like looks like he's got something to say.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt anyone, but I was just thinking about this. Sarah, do you live like in a really, I guess like a wooded area of Spokane?
So I live on the outskirts of Spokane, on the way out to Tum, Washington. I live in, well, I don't want to say exactly where, but it's right around the 9
forested area.
Yes.
Okay.
So besides UFOs, I know there are a lot of people that witness glowing orbs in wooded areas, and I was just wondering if you've ever seen anything like that. And
I
so,
have.
oh, could you maybe share one of those stories?
So when I was a kid, I used to be able to see like different light energy. Is basically what I could understand about it. And or I actually saw an orb, and it was a blue orb, and it would, I don't want to say follow because I don't think that's what it actually was doing, but it was out there and it was kind of just moving around, not really doing too much. Kitty butt.
Sorry about that.
Okay. But I've seen orbs in forestry areas. I've seen an orb in my dad's house. It flew right past me and it was white and it was almost the shape of a crystal ball. So I do believe in orbs. They're not just dust or bugs. I think you have to really realize the area that you're in to call it a bug or dust or lint or anything like that.
This one that you saw that was blue, do you think that the different color orbs stand for certain things, or what was your interpretation of this blue one personally?
Personally, I felt calm around it. I didn't feel like there was anything negative. Um, yeah, it was just kind of just there, and it was something that I hadn't seen before, so it was a whole new experience. And some of my friends are gonna look at me and go, "Where did that come from?" Because I don't say everything to everybody. But yeah, the orb experience, I have seen them. I've dealt with them also out at Greenwood. Greenwood Cemetery is full of orbs. And you go at like certain times, you can get them on your photos. Um, it's a pretty interesting place.
So do you think orbs are just ghosts, or do you think it's something else? Or
I
how do
think
you
they're
feel about them?
ghosts. I think they're ghosts and spirits. Like
Sarah, you know how to prove that an orb is a spiritual containment field? Is to look for intelligent movement. So one of my cases, the ghost was Emily, and she was known to drain the energy from the occupants. So when I got there, one of my investigators says, Paul, I'm really tired. I feel fatigued. I need to sit down. And I said, I wonder if Emily is draining that energy from you. So I said, Emily, if you're listening to me, kiss him on the mouth. But 3 cameras, 3 investigators, we take a picture and there's an orb on his mouth.
wow.
That's intelligent movement. Then I said, Emily, if you're listening to me again, sit on his lap. And then we get an orb hovering over his lap. Intelligent movement. That was something I can deem as paranormal. Otherwise, yeah, orbs can be almost anything. It could be lint, dust, light refractions, dewdrops, skin flakes, you name it. But if you can show intelligent movement, that is something you can deem as paranormal.
Paul got it. Somebody take it. Okay, we used to investigate this place called the Ion Hotel, and they have a little bar area down at the bottom. And Paul was out there all dancing, having a good time. He got a crotch orb. Oh my gosh, I wish he could find it so he could give it to Phil to put on there. It was so funny.
Fall in the orb down.
They were bringing it down.
So funny. Nadine, I gotta ask you something.
All about that orb life. It's all about that orb life.
Oh my
Hey, but you know, Sarah, have you heard about that guy Ken who had a meteor he found basically his backyard, but it looked like a potato and it had a little like life coming out of it, and he kept showing it like on 4chan and Reddit like day by day, and the thing started growing, and it almost looked, they started calling it Venom because it looks like Venom, the comic book character with the fractals, and it's all the spikes. And so he started putting it in a safe, started taking it out, showing it day by day. But as I understand now, the latest is it's gotten loose. And it's, it's supposed to be otherworldly. It's gotten loose. This thing, it gets big exponentially. And I think he's in danger too, perhaps.
And it's living in the water now.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. Go ahead, Paul. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, please let me know about the water part because I hadn't heard that.
Oh my God! So what is going on? Is that for real? Or
I mean, if they have it on 4chan, usually 4chan and Reddit, like they'll rip it up. Okay, that other story too. We can include the rod that the guy has. He has this rod. It's a steel rod about 2 feet long, and it has the hieroglyphics on both ends. And he showed it where it crashed. He dug it up and it burned him a little bit, so he stopped. And now I think he feels like it's radiating him, but all the people on 4chan and Reddit and the physicists, they're all, saying, hey, somebody's going to try to steal that from you, or they're going to try to hurt you. And he keeps saying, well, if I die, I'm ready, all this stuff here. So those two guys, between those two, they are setting everything on fire.
Wow.
that is yeah. And every time I go on YouTube, first thing I see is that thing, and I think is it in Argentina?
The Venom.
Yeah, is Venom in Argentina?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's got all these little spiny things, and
Yeah.
it's weird, and it breathes.
And it keeps growing. Yeah, it breathes, it moves. I mean, that's the thing,
Yeah, it's blowing me away. It's like, is this a real thing on YouTube? Is it made up? And the guy released it into the water, thinking he could drown it, and it's still living. So it's like, what the hell is going on?
Oh yeah, he's in trouble. I mean, he has, the black SUVs, people following him, and if that's, who knows if
And
that's real or not. But
they said his life's in danger. People are threatening him.
and you can laugh at that, but some people may. But you've already had other TikTok and YouTube influencers when they mess with the wrong people, of like, we won't even say their name. Then next thing you know, there's a video on them, about who they had a mishap with. Yeah. But
Well, good thing we
the
don't
guy
talk
with
about stuff that'll make us disappear. So,
well, that thing on it's called Ken. This Ken is in danger, but Ken, who found the entity, it came from supposedly a meteor. So that's the whole thing. Like it's foreign and it's released here now. Like they're wondering what will it start, how would it interact? Will it mess up the ecosystem?
all I can think of is that creep show freaking episode, meteor shit.
Yeah.
The nerds, Attack of the Nerds, when the thing went up the guy's nose.
Yeah. It's like that type of stuff there. Have you seen this, Sarah?
I have not. It's the first time I ever heard of it. But I am a big I forget the name of the movie. You guys just said it.
Oh, creep show?
No, the one with
Venom.
Venom, thank you.
Yeah.
I couldn't say it.
Phil kept on saying 28 days and made me think of 28 years later.
I love both of those movies. 28 Days, 28 Weeks.
I like all of them.
All of them.
They're all pretty good.
You seen the new Conjuring movie yet?
No, shush.
Yeah, I want to.
My daughter saw it.
I haven't watched it because I am so disappointed with Ed and Lorraine Warren. The story about them, they're frauds. Ed Warren had a girl move into his house, and she was a minor, and he was having relations with her. Lorraine knew about it and didn't do anything about it. Then Ed also too was wife beating Lorraine.
Yep.
And there's so much information about this out there, but then you still have these ghost hunting groups who look at them like heroes, and their conjuring stuff is all bullshit. And it's hard for me to watch because I know it's bullshit, and I just can't get into it.
What's interesting about that is that in every one of the movies, they do portray Ed and Lorraine as this loving couple.
Couple.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm at the point where entertainment is entertainment, and most of the stuff that people say that they're, we can't watch this because of this. I'm just like, you know what? It's there to entertain us, and not to So it's just it's all fiction. So I try not to coincide.
Well,
both of them.
The true thing about all of the Conjuring movies is that each one of the movies is based on an actual case that they investigated. So
that's it. Yeah, that's it though.
They do have pictures. Yeah, but I mean, anybody could say that about anybody who does anything paranormal. And it's
right, exactly. Yeah.
Dead. So, I mean, yeah, he could have been beating his wife and could have been having sex with teenagers. That doesn't necessarily mean that what they did wasn't real or it was real.
Exactly.
Neither proves nor disproves any of it. One thing that they are the most famous and the most successful, and they definitely made they're the most money of any paranormal investigators in history.
Hell yeah.
That's true. But and it's so funny about the Enfield poltergeist case, in which they made a movie about, and Ed and Lorraine Warren spent only a matter of 15 minutes at that investigation, but they wrote a whole book about it, and they hired a horror writer to help them make it scary.
Well, they changed the doll. The one thing because I've been following Ed and Lorraine Warren since I was a kid. I mean, they investigated the Amityville thing, and they filmed Amityville Horror in my hometown. So, I mean, I was way into them, back then, but I knew for a fact, like there was a Friday the 13th TV series. You remember that in the 80s?
Yeah.
That series is a direct inspiration of the Ed and Lorraine Warren collection that they had in their house, right? Of all these items. The most
Right.
famous of these items being the Annabelle doll. And in every one of the movies, they've referenced the Annabelle doll. She always makes an appearance. She never fails to make an appearance. However, if you look at the doll they're using in the movie, it looks nothing at all
Oh, yeah.
like the real Annabelle doll. In fact, the real Annabelle doll is a
Raggedy
Raggedy.
Well, Raggedy Ann's not scary, Phil.
You're right. You're right. So I mean, movies need to be scary. However, you also might be a copyright thing or a likeness infringement. Maybe they don't want to use Raggedy Ann because it's Hasbro or whoever owns Raggedy Ann.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the exact reasons. It probably has to do with it not being scary.
Well, it had a lot. Yeah. Well, I mean, the major reason why he changed it is because Raggedy Ann was not. But the secondary reason was what you just said. Copyright laws and stuff is why they could not. Absolutely could not. So they're like, okay, we need to change this because we're not going to get sued by this company.
You know that when I was down in Hollywood, if you're on the fly, you get a script and they say, hey, we want you to sing or rap in this scene. And they say, hey, look, well, what music are you going to use? So at that time, like people were sampling. So maybe you got some James Brown and you got something in your music. He said, oh no, we can't use that right now. Can you do anything? So then we're at the house playing something similar on the bass and just doing a fill-in beat. And then they actually use the shit. You know what I mean? Like nobody has to pay or nothing. They'll do that all the time.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
People don't realize that the most expensive part of a movie is oftentimes the music.
The copyright, yeah. Or unless you can get it's famous enough or people that can do that music.
Right. That'd be clear. Yeah.
For example, Forrest Gump, they didn't have the budget to use the music that's actually in Forrest Gump. And so what the director did was he actually cut the movie with the music that he wanted to use and made sure that cut was what the executives saw. And once they saw that, it added so much to the movie that then they gave him the money. All right, go ahead and buy it. Because otherwise, Forrest Gump was kind of a lower budget movie. In fact, Tom Hanks had to come out of his pocket, and so did the director, in order to get it finished filming. It wasn't until after the fact that everybody realized this was going to be a huge hit that the company, the executives finally said, all right, here's the money you need. We were wrong. This is, a great film. But yeah, God forbid you want to use a Beatles song. Whoa.
Oh, no.
No. But on the Forrest Gump, though, Phil, actually, I was one of the first people to see Bubba Shrimp, the character, because as you know, Michael T, that played Bubba, was my manager. So
wow,
we were at the house, and we were at the house, and he was like, we all were under contract, like every day to make you wake up, you got to do like beats, you got to do all kind of songs, submit them, and so like you do that till like 4:00. So it was like 3 something, and he came in. He said, "Hey guys, I want you to stop right now." He said, "I got something I'm working on," and we're like, they said, "No, we'll talk to you in a little bit." He's like, "No, stop." He said, "I got this movie." So he started explaining to us. He said, "Does anybody want to go to the desert?" And so my brother, he was like, "Yeah, I want to go." I was like, "No, it's like in Atlanta. They were going to Savannah, to the desert." And he said, "What are you gonna do? We're gonna film this movie." So he starts explaining about this war movie and going into it. But he said, "I got this character I'm working on it." And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "It's Bubba." And so we're like, "Okay, let's go." So we want to keep working. He goes, "No, stop." So he went around the corner, just like right around the door, and he put something in his mouth. And when he came back, he was Bubba. And he stayed in character for like, maybe 10 minutes. And to us, everybody there was creative. So we're like, okay, but we didn't have any idea like how big it would be, but he did though. Because he doesn't take scripts unless he gets like a really kind of like, it's like tingle for him. And he picks and chooses them, but also he comes back and helps people too. Just that's a good story. But ironically, the restaurant, the Bubba Gump restaurant, they came to him and said, "Hey, we'd like to invite you to the premiere and put you the special place and have you eat and everything and honor you." And he was like, "That's fine. I like that and everything. That would be cool. But can I have some stock?" And they were like, no.
Well, darn God.
So after they said, no, Doc, he said, well, maybe one day we both could come together, with our assets and make this a better venture, whatever.
Oh my God.
He got you on WKRP Cincinnati too, right?
Yeah, he did. Well, what he would do is he would take me to work, and at the time I would be rapping, singing, and I would have to improv to everybody I saw. I would do the speed rap. They really it's like a Charlie Parker, it's like a jazz type of thing, but he would make me improv to everybody at his job, like for like a week. You'd see Tony Catania, George Hamilton, Seinfeld. You see everybody, and he'd be like, hey, Blue, rap about them and rap about so and so. And then they came to me after about 2 weeks, and they had a script. And they said, well, how do you feel about acting? So I said, hey, well, I don't really know much about it. And so I had to do a crash course. And he pitched for it, to go ahead and, go in, hey, why don't we try this type of script or try that? So that's how that went. But, we did 3 episodes and then the show went off the air. So, so much for that.
Wow. Now it's a very popular TV sitcom.
It was, I didn't realize when you shoot the live episodes on a Friday, so what it is, you get a script Tuesday, and then Wednesday you get a second script for the week following, and you learn that, and by Friday morning you film in front of the camera with no live audience, and that's supposed to be perfect, and then you do it that Friday evening in front of the live audience, and at that point in time they mix and match the laughters and reactions, but a lot of stars. I mean, a lot of people from all the shows and the different lots. You have to pinch yourself, because it's just like everybody you've been seeing since you're a kid, and you don't want to your leg. You don't want to just ask everybody for autograph, but it's like so many people, and they come up and they say, hey, everybody's supportive. It's like, and all the SAG people. So. And then when you go into the cafeteria, that's the cool thing. When you're in the cafeteria, you're really close to all the stars. You're eating, everybody's talking, but you really don't want to bother them then. But that's the hardest one. But anyway, enough about that.
Wasn't Lonnie Anderson on that show?
Oh, she was. She would, when I was shooting mine, she was actually already, she had a cameo roles. And so she came down, and everybody was like, oh, man. They stopped. We were filming, and everybody stopped. And Les Nessman, he didn't like that. Les Nessman was like, no nonsense behind the cameras. And he was just like, what's the problem? So Lonnie came, and everybody was just saying hi to her. Johnny Fever, the people, they come in and look. So when she came down, she caused quite a commotion.
I bet.
But how much time we got left?
Is she still alive?
Huh?
What?
She's still alive?
She passed away.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow. Tony Catania passed away, but she was really nice. She was really sweet. She was really nice. I could say that.
Seemed like her.
Rest in peace.
I had a question for Sarah, if I may. It was in when you're doing these paranormal investigations, I'm sure you have someone who either takes pictures or designated, or maybe you take them as well. I was wondering if you've ever caught a full body apparition in any of your pictures, and if so, can you explain what you were able to capture?
I actually have not caught a full body apparition. That is one thing that I would like to catch. We did kind of catch a shadow person, but it was too, how do I put it? Not macrame, but you know how when you're taking a photo of a photo?
Pixelated?
Yes, pixelated. So I couldn't legally say that it was an actual shadow figure.
You couldn't zoom in enough because it was too pixelated. Yeah, that happens. So, Sarah, how long have you been doing this? Ghost hunting as a serious type thing, not just encountering ghosts?
I've been into it for over 22 years.
Okay.
but investigating in itself, probably about the last 5 years.
All right. So, in the last 5 years or even 22 years, what is the craziest, scariest thing that you have encountered in ghost hunting or just all together?
Probably the Black Witch out at La Crosse, Washington.
Oh, okay. What about that?
There was a lot that happened out there, and I actually, when I came across her at this particular house, I wasn't sure what I was actually dealing with. And then I asked a teammate, and she said she saw her too and described everything. And I was like, okay, we got something here. Let's focus on this. But before we went to the house, we had a lot of stuff happen inside the car that we were traveling in. I actually, and I'm just going to say it because my friend will vouch for me. She saw it out in person. I actually got picked up by something, and we weren't going that fast in the car for me to be. I was a big woman back then. I was about probably close to 361 pounds.
Huh.